Hello everyone, I'm coming on, it's 3 o'clock in the morning on this end, but I'm doing this live Facebook. It's only to me, and then at a certain time in the morning I change it so it's available to the public, but it's a nice quiet time now for me to do it. I'm more concerned, I've been up preparing for another hearing tomorrow, the 22nd of April, another hearing that has been like going back and forth. I'm just claiming it. My claims are retaliation based on racial discrimination. Is retaliation based on racial discrimination? I had a racial discrimination claim that I'm still trying to go back to the courts and to the federal courts. And unfortunately, yes, I believe that the courts are actually retaliated against me by certain decisions that has been made. I believe Judge Betsy Benson has been pressured, or in my opinion, there are other people behind it. And so on February, my reasons being, I'm not sure if one of my other videos, you guys may have been following along, that I've said before that at one point in time in 2016, I was an active guardian ad litem in Broward County, volunteer guardian ad litem at Broward County. For some reason, and the longer I went in through the year, it became there were problems, and this is not with the director. This was with the at that time assistant director and whoever else was within the office. They did not want to, in my opinion, renew my credentials. I became inactive as a guardian ad litem, from my understanding. No matter however many times I tried to present my continued education credentials to them, they didn't want to give me a new ID card, the ID badges that we have as guardian ad litems, or any of that stuff. But per two, again, I've made mentions of that before, that I was a guardian ad litem, and that was because of certain things that was going on within the courts then, that certain treatments that was happening, that I felt it was necessary, that I think being sworn, because as a guardian ad litem, you're sworn. There's a swearing ceremony that happens, and my ceremony took place, I believe it was around April of 2016. The judge that swore us in was Judge Kenneth Gillespie. I remember during the time that I have been talking about my grandmother, involved with who was an interested party with the racial discrimination claim. I spoke about her death and questioned it as a murder because of what took place at Broward Health, which is it's governmentally owned. I believe it's by the state of Florida, but it's travel up the county and all that stuff. It's controlled by municipality. So the thing of it is that I remember in around February 25th, 2023, I had flyers and I was passing them out at Sistrunk at the Sistrunk Historical Festival. It was not, I've written it out and everything, and I think I may have even sent it to the guardian ad litem office before I actually started passing them out. Or no, it was in circulation way before it got to the Sistrunk Festival. So when I say way before, probably a good 5 months before the Sistrunk Historical Festival. Now the Sistrunk Historical Festival, February 25th, 2023, Commissioner Pat or Pat Beasley, or Pittman Beasley, or Beasley-Pittman. I'm not meaning to say that incorrectly. She was there, had a personal conversation with her. We were supposed to talk about the death of my grandmother and what appeared within multiple parties' opinions that it was a murder and not just it wasn't even just a malpractice kind of thing. It was an outright, okay, somebody, by the looks of it, somebody left her in an intensive care unit where there is a 1:1 patient ratio, and her lungs filled up with, I think, an equivalent of 6 ounces of frothy liquid in her trachea, her lungs and windpipe and all that stuff, which took a buildup of like 12 hours or something where another. It was just, okay, you can't intentionally leave. And then she's on a monitor. She was on a heart monitor and all that kind of stuff. In essence, you would have known that someone was in distress that length of time. And I remember we got a phone call 5 minutes before her death. But I think the way the pathologist came back is that it was more of an educated guess, and using the help of other people in the medical field, not myself, other people in the medical field. It was approximately, maybe, could be like 12 hours, basically at least 11 hours, or 11 hours someone could have been notified of, based on her just being extubated. I was told that they check every 10 minutes or something of her being extubated. To make sure her lungs and everything is fine, and there's no buildup coming back, or whatever the case is. Well, 12 hours to every 10 minutes, what happened? Something didn't add up. So either way, going back to the city commissioner, Miss Pittman Beasley, or Beasley-Pittman. It was also Congresswoman Sheila Sherfless McCormick. She was there at the parade. Broward Health, they happened to be there, and I passed out the flyers. Now I had to here. You shouldn't be able to see it, so I just blacked that out. I blacked that out with just a black marker, because when you know what happened, yeah. I blacked it out with a black marker, and I updated it to this. I was told to update it. So the thing is February 25th, getting to the whole thing of retaliation based on racial discrimination. February 25th, 2023, I start passing out flyers, and of course I'm filing for the federal case, and I'm passing out these flyers on the Cis-Trunk Festival. I don't know who's going to be. I don't know who's going to be. I didn't know Broward was going to be. Broward Health, my mobile vehicle, was going to be there. I didn't know Congresswoman Sheila Sherfless McCormick was going to be there. Didn't know that. I didn't even know the sheriff was going to be there. The sheriff was actually there too as well. But I don't recall actually interacting directly with him. I do recall directly interacting Sheriff Tony Gregory. But I don't recall interacting directly with him. I do recall directly interacting with Congresswoman Sheila Sherfless McCormick, and directly with the city commissioner, Pittman Beasley, or Beasley-Pittman. Again, excuse me for how I mispronounced that. So over that weekend, I passed out the flowers to Cis-Trunk Festival, and that Monday morning, in my opinion, I don't even think, I was probably barely waking up with crust coming out of my eyes and everything, and I get a call from my, as a volunteer, my director, guarding at Lightum, Miss Cassandra Phillips. She called, and because she got a call from Judge Gillespie, and they wanted me to remove the picture. And so I just had questions about it. Well, it's not him, but I didn't It wasn't intentional. Definitely wasn't intentional because it was removed. If I knew it was gonna be something about it, I wouldn't have had it up there. I thought because and I accurately described, me. It was a swearing in ceremony. It's me. It has nothing to do with him. He's not sponsoring me. He's not endorsing me. It's a picture of me that's just authenticating. Okay, this is Terry, who was being sworn in as a guardian ad litem on such and such April 13th, 2016. So I didn't think it would be an issue. So I called the Judge Gillespie, and it was a big issue. It was big. And the way I got it was that the chief judge called him, or however that, and it's not the same chief judge now. The chief judge now is Powell, something Powell, and forgive me, I know Powell is in there somewhere or another. There's a hyphen Powell or Powell hyphen. It is not that chief judge. There was a previous chief judge before then. This was back in 2023, of course. It doesn't matter, because the point that I'm getting to is that Judge Gillespie received a phone call from the chief judge. The chief judge received a phone call from somebody over the weekend, appeared to be over the weekend because it was so early in the morning. So whoever it was that reached the chief judge had to have you stored that number and just press 1, and I'm calling you right now. I have an issue. This is what's going on. Somebody had the ear of the Chief Justice within arm reach. So I do know I spoke to two very important people out there, and that I do know that the third, which was Broward Health, but I didn't speak with anybody at Broward Health. I do know that somebody had to receive a flyer from Broward Health, their mobile vehicle, who was out there, who had the attention of the Chief Justice, that immediately prompted, Judge Gillespie to then prompt Cassandra Phillips to then call me within, it had to be 8 that morning. I could be mistaken, but it was very, very early. I wasn't expecting. I was like, this many phone calls, who is calling me? What's going on? Didn't expect it. So whoever it was a very important, powerful person, in my opinion, that called, that had the ear of the chief judge at arm's reach, arm's length, and it went from there. And I definitely abided by that. However, it leads me to, the consistent other stuff that's been happening. And I'm just saying it now. I'm not scripted like I need to be scripted, because they haven't given me time to breathe, in my opinion. They, as in the court system, however it's been changing, the schedule's been changing, a lot of other stuff that's been happening. If I say the schedule, then I don't want to be, don't quote me on verse the schedule, because then it's almost like to be defensive off of that. There's multiple stuff. I'm just doing an impromptu right now, just talking, because honestly, there's this the eviction was dismissed. Then they reversed it, saying it was because of something that I presented, which was incorrect. Then when I tried to present something to the courts to dismiss it because it was incorrect, of course it was nothing that they reversed it, saying that I showed proof of a notice, and no, it's the wrong notice. It's not that. It's a different notice. It was 2 different notices. That notice was still never given. Can we please go back to your dismissal? Nope. They dismissed the dismissal, went to a full eviction, final judgment, eviction against me. I am doing a rehearing on both cases. We'll see what happened. I have in my notes, and I forgive me on this, but I'm anything, if y'all do anything for me, pray for a miracle in Jesus' name. That's the first thing I had to say, but I'm off the cuff. This is everything right now because, I stated that I felt that parties was trying to prevent me from getting back to federal court, especially, with, the files that I have, and I've been trying to decide what I need to store up and and I'll say this ending, I am the, hate is a strong word, but if I start saying anything about racial discrimination or something like that, yeah, it's pretty much down pat cemented that I done been through this thing long enough. I've been respecting the judges and respecting, particular, processes. This is in my opinion, and it is what it is. And the taxes, they didn't want the taxes to go. That was another thing about the taxes. If you guys remember about the taxes, where I was trying to prove the retaliation of the whole eviction thing and everything, and I'm showing exploitation of vulnerable adult. I'm showing, financial exploitation. All different things that's happening now. $77,000 a year that's going to a debit card, a master debit card through the healthcare savings account. So it's either taking from your paycheck as an employer from a mother's paycheck. She added family to the taxes. It's not single. She checked family to it. Added my name as a child tax credit. Then you've seen an cumulative of up to approximately $6,900 per month for 2 separate years, and another third year, another person was added on with me. So I can't really talk about that as much, but solely me as an adult, probably 45 at that time, or 44 years of age. And from my understanding, even with the federal law, you're not supposed to do it. Even if someone, because I think I was telling, if someone remembers, that I believe that somewhere or another in the court system there was some type of private settlement with this housing. In order for that to happen, they had to find me incompetent. There was a money trail. The judge skips over. It's almost like, wait, Mr. Brewer, are you correct? $77,000 a year, your name directly? No. The response, in my opinion, was, and I am paraphrasing, she didn't ask to see it. She didn't ask to see it. She didn't ask to show it. She didn't ask for me to, because I was showing that the paper, I had the tax paper right there. She didn't ask to see it. She did not question my mother about it. I think mom's was, no pun intended, mom's was the word on that. And they did not want to get in those taxes. So, and how I understand it, because of her yearly salary, is only so much. So it's either, Vitas paid her an existential amount of money for her to take that from her salary, $6,000 something a month, except for the month of December. Or I was told by a credible person that it could be a third-party contributor to the healthcare savings account. So this is the healthcare savings account that comes in a debit card. You're supposed to make the expenditures. This debit card, or I think they have Visa cards too as well. official number. You could do anything you want to do with it. It has a monitoring system to it in place, but it's not as monitored as people think. From my understanding, from what I was told, it's not as monitored as you think it is. But it comes on a debit card, and you're supposed to make your transactions on healthcare. You can make transactions. Well, you can call, remodeling the house, for the health of the person. You can call, doing your nails for health, mental health and all that kind of stuff. It is what it is. Thank you for your time. I just ask for your prayers. I don't know what else to say. I just know that, after tomorrow, I've even seen some type of writ that's up now that I thought should have been suspended, since I, did the rehearing and stuff. And from my understanding, maybe that's incorrect too as well. But time will tell. Please give me your prayers. I just pray for a miracle. I do believe without a doubt that, and I look at judges to be, I have a very big respect for the law. I get goosebumps every time I talk about it, because I just do. But I also know that, people can be pressured. And from the call that I received from Cassandra Phillips, the director of Guardian Ad Litem, and it was nothing bad about it. And then from the Judge Gillespie, me calling Judge Gillespie, and the sense of urgency about it, and to who it came from, and to whoever reached out to that person, and whoever it was, they had to have it. They had to have it on speed dial. That was like a speed dial operation. Get it off. It was like, we don't want to give him any credibility at all whatsoever. And so, me looking up certain stuff, it's, I'm seeing under Florida law, judges may not use their title or prestige to solicit funds for organizations. But he didn't use it. I used it because I'm citing, okay, I was, had the privilege of being a guardian ad litem. Okay, hey, here's my picture, and it says big enough underneath it, that's me being sworn in. Oh, okay, got it, But anyway, pray my strength. I'm smiling now, but it's very terrifying to know that tomorrow I can be evicted I don't stuff thrown out and everything, and it's reversed, and they basically put it on me, saying that it's something that I presented, and then denied me correcting. No, I didn't present that. Oh, okay, you didn't. Okay, well, we're still going to have it. You're going to be evicted. Don't worry about the fraud, the expiration date. Let's not worry about there was the expiration date. Nude videos, expiration date. She lied about the expiration date of the rental agreement. Proof that was shown on that it was somebody manipulated it. Then she wrote a letter to the judge saying that I had videotapes of her nude. Then she retracted the statement then, but there was no recourse on that one. Healthcare savings. She lied about the healthcare savings. The taxes was right there. She lied about that. Multiple stuff. I'm just coming on just to say what I'm saying, because I may not have the opportunity. From my understanding, when these people come knock on the door, they come knocking and they're ready to get you out. So I thank y'all for listening, and whoever's listening, you stay blessed. to God be the glory, because I do believe that I think the judge, she did ask me, why are you doing this? If you're claiming the trauma that or the trauma or the abuse, emotional abuse that I've received or written out, if you're claiming that, you should want to leave. Well, yeah, but I'm not one of those. I'm a different type of person. This case is different. In America, and as I said before, in America, you have cases now where more and more people are not buying houses now. People are actually doing tenant agreements with, roommates. Okay, well, when you have confrontation or confrontations of certain, legal issues with roommates, and somebody, or roommate who owns the house because in the dead wrong, but yet gets an opportunity, can do whatever they want to do. I just think that this case it sets a precedent, and I think it's important. I think more and more people are not doing. They're not doing. No, people are doing rooming. Oh, that's where it's going. And so I do think that this is a precedent, because you have an owner who bullies, and you just can't, not if you have a solidified contract, you just can't bully people like that. And then you just can't, everywhere I've been researching, fraud to the court is a big deal. I can see if just said, resubmit the whole thing. Let's do this so there's no issues or something like that. But everything, the whole foundation, everything is her case is based off of a fraudulent rental agreement that she submitted to the courts. The expiration date. I don't want to quote the judge, but it was almost as if it was just a minor thing. Minor, but yet big enough to say that it was expired in 1 year, and just for her to continue, not just that rental agreement, even the notice was forged, because she said she gave it, and I never received that notice. November 26th notice. Never received that. Never did. So anyway, you all stay blessed. And again, this is my, I'm just talking, y'all. Pray for me. I normally come more structured, but I just don't have the time to do it right now. And I don't know if I will have the time to ask for prayers or do any of that stuff by the time, if somebody does come knocking at the door. I don't know. So I thank y'all for your time. Y'all stay blessed.